Hi everybody, my name's Tony. I teach yoga therapy, breathwork and meditation. And this is a short mat practice for kind of beginners in yoga. So I have a few things that you might want to gather before you start. Kind of like a folded towel here, which is nice for supporting knees if you have sensitive knees. Obviously I have my yoga mat. I have a folded blanket here, but if you have a pillow or a cushion handy, you could use that, or a towel. And then I also have one yoga block. If you happen to have yoga blocks handy, then that's great. I'm going to be teaching with and without it. This is also, you can use a block. Hi everybody, my name's Tony. I teach yoga therapy, breath and mindfulness, and this short practice is on behalf of Jacob's Positive Mental Health Week. So I have a couple of things that you might want to gather. You don't necessarily need a yoga mat, but you're welcome if you have one. That's awesome. If not, make sure that the surface you're on is kind of comfortable for you. I've got a folded towel here, which is great for kind of padding knees when we come to kneeling. I have a blanket, but you can also use a folded towel or a pillow if that's useful, if you've got that handy. And I also have one yoga block here. If you happen to have one or two yoga blocks, then that is great. You can use nice, thick, sturdy books or anything else that you happen to have handy. Now I'm going to sit on my block just because it's more comfortable. If sitting on the floor to get into the practice is not something that is comfortable for you, I'm going to put these out of the way, then no big deal. You can start off seated in a chair if you prefer. The higher up we sit our hips, maybe on some cushions or blocks or anything we have handy, the easier that is for our lower back. So you might want to consider that. We're going to take it nice and easy. If anything doesn't feel right in your body, sit it out. You have no need to do it. If there's something else that you know that your body is asking for, you're welcome to do that. And if at any time you just simply want to rest and you've had enough, please listen to yourself way more than you're listening to me, and take care of yourself. This is a recording. You can stop it at any time. So wherever you are, however you're seated, you don't have to sit cross-legged like me. It just happens that this is comfortable for me. Have your legs out underneath you. You can, again, sit up on anything. So let's start. Let's take a nice deep inhale. And then exhale that out, nice and slow. A little bit like a sigh. You're welcome to soften your gaze down, close your eyes, and continue breathing in those mindful, longer breaths. Starting to let go of your day, your week. Starting to tune in and noticing how you're feeling. And from there, simply notice all the places that your body is supported underneath you by all the surfaces. You can even push down into the places your body touches those surfaces to find a little bit more groundedness. From that rooting down, I'm going to lift up through the spine as if your vertebrae just get a little tiny bit of space in between them. Crown of the head nudging up towards the ceiling. Shoulders soft, back and down, and the collarbones soft and wide. And again, there's no right or wrong way to be here, so if you are uncomfortable, please readjust yourself or sit in a chair to begin with as we just get into a little bit of breath. And so with that rooting to rise, I'm going to ask you to just notice how you feel. Notice what's on your mind today. Notice how your body is feeling. And try and stay away from the stories as to why it's feeling like that. Just notice the kind of energy levels you're dealing with, or if you have any pain or discomfort in your body, taking note of all those tender places that you may need to take extra care of in your practice. And start to pay attention to your breath. Option to bring the lips together, starting to breathe in and out through the nose, but only if that's comfortable for you. And then we'll start to lengthen and smooth out that breath as best as we can. No right and wrong. We'll breathe differently. Steady and as smooth as possible. And then with that steady, smooth breath, simply let go of any forcing, even if that makes the breath a lot smaller. And then all I want you to do is count how long your inhales take from the bottom to the top, and count how long your exhales take from the top to the bottom. Now we all count differently, we breathe differently, there's no magic number. Just trying to get used to your rhythm here. Notice your count in and your count out and start getting familiar with that. It's a great way to kind of tune in to something other than the thoughts, and I'll keep reminding you to come back to that steady breath count. And from here, rooting to rise, steady, smooth breath, the same count in, same count out. And this is the inhale and the exhale. Just going to turn towards one side. Inhale to center your breath count and turn to the other side. Notice as you're doing this, going from side to side, if your shoulders are shifting and moving with you, trying to keep the movement from the collarbones up. You might notice one side feels very different from another, no big deal. You can even take the gaze back behind you or over those shoulders as much as feels comfortable. We've got one more either side. Slow and steady. Coming back to center on the inhale, you're going to lift that chin up any amount. Exhale, chin comes down towards the chest. Notice as you do this, I'm going through the movement where you notice it in your body. Your throat, your neck, your upper shoulders, your back. No judgments, just paying attention. Next time we bring the chin down towards the chest, we'll stay there for a few breaths, breathing into any sensations, back of the neck, top of the shoulders, upper back. Steady breath count in and out. Stay for the last exhale, and then when you're ready, we're going to come all the way up. And taking that right hand down beside us, we're going to flip that left arm up on an inhale from the shoulder, lifting up on the exhale, coming down. Joints, shoulders, wrists, fingers and thumbs, nice and easy, and those elbows too. Using that right hand for support, and you can take a block underneath there. If it feels a little far away, you can take that left hand over towards the right. Finding that length on the left side. Slow and steady, as if you're moving through honey. So there's no particular parts that you're rushing through. Inhaling and exhaling your breath length. If that left hip is getting light when you come over to the right, see if you can ground it down with the help of your right hand. And you have another 2 more here. Next time those fingers come down, the left fingers will root, turn that right palm up, and same thing other side, inhaling and exhaling. And again, as if you're moving through water. Option to take those right fingertips over to the left, supporting yourself with that left hand. And again, a block is useful to bring the floor closer to you. Finding that length on the right side of the body. If the right hip is lifting, use that left hand to root it down and you'll find more length on that left side. 2 more. Rest if you need to. That breath count is still the same. Coming back to center when you're ready. If you've got crossed legs, you could cross the opposite leg in front if that's comfy for you. On an inhale, I'm going to sweep those arms all the way up. On an exhale, I'm going to turn to the right. Left hand comes forward, right hand comes back. Inhaling up through center. Exhaling over to the other side. You can let that gaze come with you. It can even reach back over the back shoulders. Noticing how this feels in your body, always adjusting and adapting things to move with your body, not against it. And this is the last breath wherever you are. Coming all the way back to center. You're going to take that right wrist with the left hand, reaching up and over. We've already been here. If those collarbones are reaching downwards, open up through that right shoulder, reach with the right fingertips. Inhaling up to center. Left wrist, right hand, reaching up and over. And again, if the collarbones are reaching down, open up through the left shoulder there. Inhaling all the way back up. Exhaling down. Interlacing the hands behind you, soft shoulders, elbows come nice and soft, and those knuckles are going to rest on your lower back. Draw the elbows in towards each other, draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Excellent place to be. Or send the knuckles down towards the floor. They can reach the floor, maybe, maybe not, and the heart lifts, gaze lifts if the breath is steady, and you've got 3 breaths here. Breathing all the way across the upper chest, right into the heart space. Last breath here. If the chin is lifted on the exhale, the chin comes down, releasing the hands, rolling the shoulders one direction and then the other direction. From here, we're going to come over onto our hands and knees. So keep that folded towel handy if you want. If you've got any support that you need under your knees, please take that folded blanket. Otherwise, hands and knees. The hands are at least shoulder distance apart, if not wider. Spread the fingers nice and wide. Knees at least a hip distance. Toes tucked or untucked, your choice. Push into your hands and knees. Draw the belly in towards the spine and lift through the back of the shoulders. Gaze is in front of the mat. Come back to the steadiness of the breath. On the inhale, and drop that belly down, lift the sit bones up, lift the gaze. On the exhale, push into your hands and knees, and the back ribs roll towards the ceiling, chin down towards the chest. Inhaling, that's the extension of the spine. Exhaling, flexion, cat and cow. As much or as little movement as feels good for you. Very little stillness here. I know we like to hang out at the top and the bottom of our breath. See if you can keep it a smooth movement. Inhaling and exhaling. Another 2 here. You can always rest. Last one, staying for the exhale. And from here, you can always bring your, I'm going to teach you child's pose, so the big toes come towards each other, and option to take a pillow underneath your seat, between your seat and heels, and you can rest on that. Otherwise, hips come towards the heels. Supported child's pose is on your hands, forearms, stacked fists, stacked palms. The knees can be as wide or as close together as you feel comfortable. And that is child's pose in stillness, or you can rock and roll from side to side, depending on how that feels for you and your joints. This is a place you can always come back to. Otherwise, we're coming back up to hands and knees here. And then when you're ready, we're going to send that right leg out at the side. So I'm going to come forward so you can see right leg comes out towards the side, toes facing forwards, and the hands are underneath or wider than the shoulders. This is a great place to pad that left knee if you need support. Great place to stay right here. If you want to add on, I'm going to come up onto those right fingertips and get light. On an inhale, right elbow lifts as we twist towards the right, any amount. That's the inhale. Exhale, hand is tapping down. Inhaling and exhaling. If you want to add on, that right arm can extend up towards the sky. Gaze can come with you. Or the right hand can come back behind you and you're reaching. Again, more is not better here. Any wrist issues, you're so welcome to come down onto forearms if that feels comfortable. Your choice. Option to stay here, pulsing, or option wherever your inhale is to stay for 3 breaths. Wide across the collarbones, pushing down to everything that is touching the mat, and steady breath count in and out. Stay for the last exhale and coming all the way down. Right knee comes in, left foot comes out. Patting the right knee as you need to. Same thing, other side. Left hand is getting light. Right hand is supporting you under those right shoulders. This is a great place to be and stay. If you're adding on, the inhale lifts up the left elbow towards the sky. Any amount we twist, exhaling down. Great place to be. If you want to add on, that left hand can extend up towards the sky or even back behind you. More is not better. You're working with that steady count of breath to know what's comfortable for you. Last 3, pulsing, or we stay wide collarbones, rooting into the foundation to find length. Steady count of breath. And on that last exhale, we're coming all the way down, and that left knee comes in. Cat and cow, an option for child's pose. Otherwise, we're taking the right leg round and forward. Give it a little bit of help with your hands if you want to. I'm going to turn to the side so you can see me. If you have those yoga blocks or anything to help you come up, you can take them under your hands, more or less under your shoulders, on any height. Pad the left knee, and we're rocking forward and back with the hips. You can take that left knee a little closer in, a little further back. There's no right and wrong here. As you're pulsing, option, as you come back to lift through the front toes, rocking onto the heel, and you'll start to get into that leg of the hamstring. That leg does not have to be straight. Inhaling and exhaling. Excellent place to be, right here. Working with that steady breath. No steady breath, then you pause. Next time we come forward, option to readjust that front leg so it's comfy for you. Maybe heel toeing the leg out towards the side of the mat would help with balance. You can stay here or take one hand, both hands all the way up onto the front of the leg. Again, patting the back knee can really help for comfort here. And from here, readjusting the support underneath you can really make all the difference with what feels stable. Another key to feeling stable is to fix your gaze somewhere around eye height in front of you that's not moving. And of course, steady breath. Play with the pelvic tilt here. So Extend and flex through the lumbar spine, and then come to a place of neutrality, somewhere between that anterior and posterior tilt, so you feel neutral. Root down through all the foundation underneath you, your knee and both feet. And then we lift from there, very similar to when we were seated, rooting to rise. Stay here, steady breath. If you want to add on, then the arms come up as wide or as close together as you like, as if you're holding a big beach ball above you. Any tingling or numbness in those hands, bend through the elbows. Palms towards each other, if that feels comfy. And from here, we stay 3 breaths. If you want to challenge your balance, soften your gaze, or close your eyes. Root into your foundation and rise from there. Count those steady breaths in and out. You've got 1 more breath. On that exhale, lift the gaze, open the eyes. Hands come down to the front of the right thigh if they weren't already there. Hands come to the inside of the right leg. And we send that right leg round and back. Left leg comes forward, and the option always is for child's pose. Readjust that left foot so it's comfy for you. Blocks are always an option. And we're rocking backwards and forwards with the hips in your own time. No right and wrong here, and it really depends on how long your arms are to where it is that you need your hands. Option, as you come back, to lift up through the front ball of the foot, lengthening through the back of the leg. Steady breath. You're always welcome to stay in any places that you want to take a few breaths there. And then when you're ready, next time the front foot comes forward, we're staying. You can readjust that. Hands come onto the front of the thigh and we come up. Back knee padded if you need extra support. From here, readjust your foundation so it feels more solid. Fixing your gaze will help, and that steady breath count. This is a great place to stay. If you're feeling uncertain or wobbly, stay here. If you want to add on, those arms come up. Again, any numbness or tingling in the fingers, bend through the elbows. That should ease that, or take the hands down. Otherwise, as if you're holding a beach ball, as big or as small as you like, we're reaching up. Rooting to rise. We're getting that length through the side of the body that we found earlier and through the crown of the head. Option to stay here. Option if you want to challenge your balance, soften your gaze, close your eyes, tune into the foundation underneath you and lift from there. Count the breath in and out. Settling the nervous system even when we're challenged. You've got 1 more breath, more or less. Option to stay longer, or on an exhale, we take the hands down. Hands come to the inside of that leg, and we're taking the leg round and back. Cat and cow. Take the knees wider or close together, big toes towards each other, supported child's pose, or child's pose all the way down. In movement, or in stillness. Come back to the breath. Steady, smooth breaths. Counting the inhale and exhale, and at any time that breath can change, no big deal. And you can stay here for as long as you like. And if you're not really too keen on exploring downward facing dog, stay in child's pose. Otherwise, when you're ready, we're coming back up to hands and knees. Last hands and knees. Tuck the toes. Hands are wide. Again, we're spreading our weight into the tips of the fingers and thumbs. Take the hands one palm distance in front of the shoulders. That will help. And the wider you take your knees and feet on the mat, the easier this will be. Steady breath. Push into your foundation. Lift through the belly, through the back of the heart, and the gaze is coming forward. Starting to warm up the core. On an inhale, push into your toes, your hands. You're just hovering the knees. Exhaling slowly down. Notice as you're pulsing, inhaling up, exhaling down, and the knees are just hovering maybe a few centimeters. Go inside and notice all the muscles that are building as you do this. Great place to be. Personally, I find this a little more challenging. Option, next inhale to push into the toes, keep those knees bent, and we're sending the hips up towards the sky. Long spine, that's the inhale. Exhale, coming down. Great way to prep, downward facing dog. If you want to add on, hips come up and we stay. Bending one knee, straightening through the other leg a little or a lot. You don't have to get your heels anywhere near the earth, walking the dog side to side. Anytime you can come down to your knees, come down to child's pose. Or if you want to add on, taking both heels high. Wider you take your feet, the easier it is. And we're sinking the heels towards the earth. They don't ever have to get there. And here we are, 3 breaths. Pushing into the hands, lengthening through the tailbone, and the gaze comes towards the feet, the knees, or towards the belly. Steady breath. Readjust anything for your own body to feel better. You've got one more steady breath, same count in. And on the exhale, bend through the knees. Knees come down, big toes towards each other, supported child's pose, or all the way down. Inhaling and exhaling. Option to send those fingers out in front of you, right onto spider fingers, forearms off the earth. Sending the fingers off the mat to one side, drawing the opposite hip back, breathing into the length side of the body. Same count in and out. And then we're coming all the way to center, fingers to the other side off the mat. Opposite hip shifts to the opposite side, and we're breathing into the side of the body. Steady and smooth. Coming back to center. And then when you're ready, hands and knees, tuck the toes. We're going to walk the hands back towards the knees. If there's another way you want to come up, please do. Otherwise, here we go, hands to the thighs, and we're coming all the way up to standing. Any adjustments you need to make, go ahead. Standing all the way up, feet are a comfortable distance for you. And if you wobble from side to side, make sure that you adjust that so you are stable and comfortable. Palms towards me, roll the shoulder blades back and together. Same thing that when we were seated or on our knees, we root into the feet like you're standing in sand at the beach and you kind of want to dig down a little deeper. Fingertips reach down, but the crown of the head and all the way up through the spine reaches towards the sky. This is mountain pose, wide at the base, and we're just like a mountain, the crown of our head reaching towards the sky. I'm going to turn those palms up on an inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale, taking them down, getting used to that same count of breath in and out. One more, just like that. Exhaling, hands coming to the hips and coming to balance. So we're going to take those feet a little closer and towards each other, which is automatically going to make us feel a little more unstable. So, rooting down to rise, The steady count of breath will help, and fixing your gaze somewhere at eye height in front of you will help with your focus, which helps with balance. From here, root into that left foot, spread those toes nice and wide, lift the right heel, bend the knee. Just get used to having your weight in your left foot. This can already be a lot for a lot of us. You can take a chair, a cabinet, or a countertop or a wall next to you if that feels more stable for you. From here, keeping the hips facing forward, kind of like car headlights, you're going to draw that right knee out towards the side, and it's not going to come all the way out for 99% of us. Foot to the floor, and this is already, again, quite challenging. Next option, right heel comes over the top of the left leg, and you can keep it there. Again, hips always facing forward. Right foot can come to the inner shin, pushing the foot and the shin in towards each other so we get this lengthening through the midline up through the crown of our head. Option to stay here, option to take that foot to the upper thigh, just not the knee joint. We don't want to push that knee joint out. Hands to your hips will help with balance. So will the breath, steady count, so will fixing the gaze. You can take your hands into heart center, roll the shoulders back and down, push the heels of the hands in towards each other, and that can help with balance too. Last option, first finger and thumb come towards each other, lifting up through the branches as wide or as high as you like. And again, tingling or numbness in the fingers, we bend through the elbows and take the elbows down. You've got 3 breaths here wherever you are, steady and smooth. Count the length of your inhale and exhale. Any coming out, no big deal. That's why this is called a practice. We never really get it right. On the next exhale, hands come down if they're not already there, and that right leg comes down. Bend through the knees, hula hoop through the hips, one direction and the opposite direction, and we're coming to the other side. First thing, we settle the breath. Rooting down to rise up. Fix your gaze. Hips like headlights facing forward, and the legs come in towards each other. Lift the left heel, bend the knee. Challenging here, stay here. If you need a chair, a wall, or a countertop, please take it. Keeping the hips facing forward, left knee comes out. Heel can stay connected to the right foot, and we get this rooting downwards, this connection to the midline of the body. Option to stay here. Option to take the foot to the shin, pushing the shin and the foot in towards each other, or that foot comes up to the upper thigh, just not the knee joint. Right thigh pushes in. Right thigh pushes in to the foot of the left. Get that connection inwards, hands to hips will help. Next option, hands in towards heart center, roll the shoulders, push the heels of the hands in towards each other, and we've got more connection inwards, just like the foot is pushing into the thigh and the thigh is pushing back. First finger and thumbs come towards each other. You can grow your tree branches. Again, numbness or tingling, please soften the shoulders. We're here for 3 breaths. Steady the breath, steady the gaze. If you've got laser pointed gaze, see if you can soften the gaze somewhat. Balance is not a static thing, it is movement. It's coming in and out of that center of balance. Got 1 more breath, more or less. On the exhale, hands come to the hips and release that left leg. Bend through the knees, hula hoop one direction and hula hoop in the opposite direction. From here, we're walking towards the front of our mat, and I'm going to turn toward this side so you can see me. Hands to the hips, mountain pose, wide on the base, lifting up towards the crown of your head. Settle the breath, settle the gaze. Root into the right foot. On the inhale, you're going to lift the left heel. And then on an exhale, you're going to send that left leg a little ways back on your mat. Now for warrior one, right foot is facing forward, left toes are off about 45 degrees, and the wider you take it on your mat, the more stability you're going to have, as the closer that back foot is, the more stable you are. So you get to decide. Play around a little bit, see what feels good for you. And then from there, you're just going to bend and straighten the front knee. As you're doing this, root into both feet. 50% of your weight in one foot, 50% of your weight into the other. We tend to dump our weight into that front foot, so we need to really connect down with the back leg. If you need to adjust your stance as you're doing this, go ahead. Next time we bend, knee is more or less over the ankle. So if that knee is caving in, draw it out. And the back toe is turned in, we'll give that internal rotation of the back leg. From here, square up the shoulders towards the front of your mat, and that may immediately mean that you adjust your stance because of your hip, your back knee, your back heel, rooted down through both feet. Again, splitting the weight between both feet. Rooting down to rise. Play with the pelvic tilts here, and notice a neutral place for you. Roll the shoulders back and down, and here we are. On an inhale, push into the front leg, and we're straightening. On an exhale, we're sinking. And this is a great place to be, pulsing warrior one. If you want to add on with the arms, on the inhale, we're reaching up. We've already been here in tree. Exhale, hands shoulder height, thumbs to the sky like you're holding a box or a beach ball. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Warrior one in movement. Excellent place to stay here, especially if this is challenging already. Counting the breath. Next time we come down, option to stay, option to take the arms up as wide or as close together as you like. Numbness or tingling in the fingers, please take the hands down or back to your hips. You've got 3 breaths here. Spread the weight between both feet. Count the breath. Option to challenge yourself for the last 2 breaths. Soften the gaze, close the eyes, focus on your foundation. Stay for the last exhale. Float the eyes open. Hands come to the hips as you straighten the front leg, lift the back heel, and come forward. Any adjustments you need in your body, go ahead and do that. And we're coming to the other side. Hands to the hips, mountain pose on the feet. Steady the breath, steady the gaze. Root into the left leg, lift the right heel. And this time we're sending the right leg back. Readjust your stance to be wider, narrower, further apart, closer together. No right and wrong, your choice. And then we're bending and straightening into that front knee. When you're ready, option to stay. Squaring up the shoulders towards the front of the mat may immediately change your foundation. Spread the weight of your body into both feet so the back leg is just as connected as that front heel. Play with the pelvic tilts, adjusting this for your body. No right or wrong here. Option to stay here. On an inhale, we're straightening through the front leg, exhaling, dipping, and we've got a pulse going with the movement. If you're adding on with arms, on the inhale, we're coming up. Exhale, hands shoulder height, beach ball, as big or as small as feels comfortable in your shoulders. Inhaling up, finding length, exhaling, sinking. Even as you come forward, the back heel is very connected. Next option, when we come down, we stay. Option to stay here, option to take the arms up, full warrior one, adjusting things for your body. Root down to rise. 3 breaths. Option to soften the gaze, close the eyes, count the breath. Steady and smooth. Last breath here. On an exhale, the hands come down, straighten the front leg, lift the back heel, and we're coming forward. Bend through the knees, hula hoop through the hips, and back in the opposite direction. Nicely done. From here, hand to belly, hand to heart, 3 breaths, steady and smooth. And if you feel comfortable enough, feel free to soften your gaze down or close your eyes. Settle the breath into your own rhythm. Breathing into the palms of your hands. Notice your body lifting with the breath and softening with the breath. 1 more. Nicely done. And from here, if you had your eyes closed, lift the gaze. And then we're coming all the way down to the floor. And I'll meet you there. And you'll need all of your props or anything extra that you might fancy having handy, like extra blankets and layers. So here we are down on the floor, making sure you've got any blankets, pillows, or folded towels close. We're going to make our way all the way down on the floor. So have those handy all the way down onto your back. Knees to the sky, feet to the floor. And if you feel like this is a strain in your neck already, then take a folded blanket or a pillow underneath your head, making sure that you feel stable and comfortable. If you're very sensitive when you come down to the floor, you're welcome to have extra layers underneath you of towels or blankets to make the surface softer. From here, get rid of that. From here, pick up your hips and settle them back down onto the floor with a longer lower back. Great place to be right here, rooting into those feet. Shoulder blades drawn in towards the earth, so we've got a wide collarbones here, and the chin is drawn in slightly to make breathing steady and smooth. We're going to come back to the same count of breath in and out. Your count of breath, and that may have changed, no big deal, but we want a steady rhythm, whatever that is. Feet are around about a hip distance here. And then from here, hands are going to rest on the front of those hips. On the inhale, like I just picked up your belly button towards the sky, you're going to lift up through the belly, and we'll have that extension in the spine, just like cow pose. And on the exhale, as if I just pushed your belly button down into the mat, you're going to feel that pelvic tilt as the tailbone lifts somewhat. We're just going to rock forward and back. With your hands on the front of your pelvis, you're going to notice the pelvic tilts as they come forward and back. Now what we want here is not the size of the movement, but we want the control of the movement. So inhaling and exhaling. Great place to be, right here. If you want to add on, the hands can come down and out next to your hips, or robot arms, elbows in towards your ribs, triceps pushing down, fingers reaching towards the sky. Draw the shoulder blades in towards each other so we have an open heart. Continue with the breath. The inhale, of course, the belly lifts towards the sky. The exhale, it draws down towards the mat. Excellent place to stay. If we're adding on that exhale, next time, push into your feet and the triceps as you draw the belly in towards the spine, and the pelvis can lift up a little. Peel the spine all the way up and then all the way back down. Inhale, at the top of the inhale, the belly lifts. Exhale, belly comes in towards the spine and the hips lift. So it doesn't have to be very high, but maybe the tailbone tucks, maybe the pelvis starts to lift off on the from the mat. And maybe you start to get into the rhythm, but again, we're moving with our body, not against it. You can use those triceps and the shoulders, the back of the head, to come up as much as you like, pushing into the feet, pulsing up and down. Option to stay here. Option to lift up through the hips and we stay, pushing the triceps down, allowing the hips to stay where they are, steady and smooth. Option to take the palms down towards the floor, pushing into the palms, lifting up a little higher. But we're stable and steady with the breath. If we don't have the breath, allow the hips to come down, even towards the floor or resting. If you want to add on, your hands interlace underneath your pelvis. Walk one shoulder and the other in towards each other, opening up through the heart. Steady breath. You've got 3 breaths here. Again, pushing into your foundation, lifting from there, but the breath is the guide. Staying for one last breath. If the hands are bound, releasing, and slowly, one vertebrae at a time, taking the hips all the way down. Readjust yourself, come back to the steadiness of breath. Drawing the right knee in towards you, giving yourself a little hug here. Option to stay here with the left foot to the floor, knee to the sky, or extend out the left leg. If that means the back of your head lifts, then keep that left knee bent. Right hand in front of the right knee. Flex in both feet if that left leg is extended and the right leg is coming up towards the sky. And we're going to circle through that hip. Just a little in one direction. Keep it smooth and steady. And around in the opposite direction when you're ready. Drawing that right knee in, bend the left knee if it's not there already, and we're taking the outer right ankle onto the top of that left thigh. The further away your left heel is, the easier this will be in your right hip. The closer your left heel is to your seat, the more challenging it'll be in that right hip. Excellent place to stay right here. Steady breath. And if it's already loud in the right hip, you stay there. If you want to add on, we draw the left knee in towards you, holding onto the left thigh, threading the hands underneath the knee, or even coming to the front of that shin. Both feet are flexed here to protect the knee. Thread the needle. Steady and smooth. Again, more is not better here. So steady the breath and come to a place where you can keep the breath even and smooth. You got another couple of breaths. You're welcome to stay for longer or rest. When you're ready, that left foot comes back to the floor as you release. And the right knee comes down. Left knee comes in towards your chest. Give it a little hug. Option to stay here. Option to send the right leg long, whatever feels good to you. That leg is extended, it is flexed, and the left ankle is flexed too. Hand to the front of that left knee, and we're circling in one direction, smooth and steady. And finding some ease in the joint, and then we'll go around in the opposite direction. Drawing the knee in. Great place to stay. That right leg's extended, it's coming back, foot to the floor, knee to the sky. Taking the left outer ankle atop of that right upper leg in a figure 4. Great place to stay right here. Don't expect the side to feel the same. The breath is steady, and that left foot has a nice little flex in to protect the knee. Excellent place to stay here. If that left hip is already challenging and the breath is not smooth, then please adjust that right heel further away or closer in, depending on what you need. Adding on, drawing the right thigh in towards your belly. Take the outer right thighs interlace underneath that knee, or depending on the length of your arms, maybe you can find the front of that shin. If the right foot is lifted, both feet are flexed, protecting those knees. And you've got a steady and smooth breath here. If the back of the head is lifting as you draw your leg in, then please take that leg a little further away to rest through the neck and the shoulders. Smooth and steady breath. See if you can be gentle with yourself here instead of thinking that more is better. And then when you're ready, releasing the right leg down and releasing the left leg to meet it. With your knees to the sky, feet to the floor, you're going to pick your hips up and shift them over towards the right. So just the hips here. Left leg goes long, right knee draws in. We've already been here. Left hand to the right knee. Right arm is out in a T at shoulder height or a cactus, your choice. And we're drawing that right knee over towards the left, letting the right hip lift, coming into a twist. And you can use any blocks you have to support under the right leg. Keep that right shoulder rooted and grounded. And then you get to play with how high or how low that knee comes. You can stay in stillness. You can pulse here with that knee, coming to a comfortable place. Take a big, beautiful breath in. When you're ready, exhale it out, slow and steady. Another 3 breaths, just like that, releasing tension. Last breath. Gaze comes up to center, the knee comes up to center, and that right foot comes down. Left foot joins it, hips come back to center, and then over towards the left side of your mat. Right leg goes long, left leg draws in, same thing, other side. Your left arm is at a cactus or a T, so that left shoulder is grounded. Right hand takes the left knee over towards the right, any amount. And you can support that left leg, ankle, knee, shin, if you have a blanket or block or anything else handy. Gaze can come over the left shoulder if that left shoulder is rooted, so the neck is safe. And you can pulse here and move, changing or shifting anything so it feels comfortable, steady and smooth. Take a few longer, slower breaths here, releasing tension on the exhale. One last long sigh out here, and you're welcome to stay longer. Or the gaze comes to center and the left knee draws up too. Left foot to the floor, right foot joins it, and you bring your pelvis back to a central place. Any lower back issues, you're taking your feet a little wider, knees knocking towards each other. And this is called constructive rest, which is a great place to rest in your relaxation. If you have a blanket or a rolled towel or a bolster or a pillow, you can take that underneath your knees or the back of your thighs. That's going to help your lower back here with the knees bent. Or a relaxation for you that feels good. You can take your legs long. You can spread out like a starfish. Relaxation can also be on a bed that's handy close by, a couch. You can rest on your side, a recliner, anything that's comfortable for you here. Take any extra layers, maybe an eye pillow. As you get yourself sorted, I'm going to come up to a seat to guide you through your relaxation. So take your time here and really settle into a comfortable place. The more comfort we have in our body, the less distraction we have in our mind, and the more we're able to rest. The bliss is in the details here. So as you settle down, if you're finding yourself thinking, well, it's fine, I'm a bit uncomfortable, but it's fine, please take the time to adjust. Even 1% more comfort in the body can make a huge difference with allowing yourself to let go. Wherever you are, knowing you can adjust at any time. Take a big, beautiful breath in, all the way to the top of your breath. And exhale it out, slow and steady. You can take 3 more of those, or take a big breath in, all the way to the top of your breath, and hold. Relax tension in your muscles. Take another big sip of breath in, all the way up. Hold again. Relax tension. Last sip of breath. You're getting full now. Fill all the way up. There's very little left for room for breath. On an exhale, sweep the breath out like a long sigh in your own time. And with that, we release any control over the breath. So your breath starts to breathe for you. Notice all the surfaces underneath your body, all the places your body touches support. And consciously release into that support. Imagine your bones just got 10 times heavier, and allow them to sink deeper into that support underneath you. Allow your joints to find a little bit of space here. As if all of a sudden, all of your joints just felt a whole lot easier. Imagine that your inner organs could relax tension from around them, and watch that happen. Releasing the muscles in your forehead and eyebrows. Allowing the small muscles around your eyes to soften. Noticing your cheeks and chin releasing tension. You can run your tongue where your teeth meet your gums, top and bottom, front and back, to release your jaw. Leaving the back teeth parted and the tongue soft. Imagine the expression on your face simply sliding away. And the muscles on the top and the back of your head release, like they're going loose and soft. And the muscles in your temples and the sides of your ears relax too. Neck and throat feel easier here. Your shoulders relax. Upper arms, elbows, lower arms, wrists, even your fingers and thumbs let go and release, the palms of your hands feeling softer and easier. From your shoulders and your upper back, shoulder blades softening, muscles loosening all the way down through your mid-ribs, kidney area, and even your lower back releases. Pelvis heavy into the support underneath you. And that softness washes down through your upper legs, lower legs, and even the soles of your feet soften. Your collarbones release here, and your chest and heart space relax completely, letting go of any constrictions or tightness. In fact, as that happens, your breath becomes so soft and easy here. And that ease washes down over your belly and pelvis. Hips relaxing. And now the front of your upper legs and shins release too. In fact, that wave of softness washes all the way down through your body, releasing any last little bits of tension as you finally allow your whole body to rest. And the mind feels soothed too here. The thoughts feel further away. And you notice they're there, they come and go, but you're less interested in paying attention to them. In fact, every moment that you rest here, you find yourself relaxing more and more. And it feels so good to simply release. And you can rest here for as long as you like, tuning my voice out and taking your time. Now, for those of you who would like to finish your practice, simply guide your awareness to that support underneath you, all the surfaces you are held by. Become aware without moving a muscle, without opening your eyes. Become aware of the space around you and where you rest within that space. Notice your body. Observe how it feels without any stories. Be aware of your breath, the soft breaths. In your own time, taking a little longer inhale, exhale out through the mouth in a soft sigh. Taking a few more mindful breaths in your own way and time. Breathing into the container of your body, from the crown of your head to the tips of your fingers and toes. And in a way that feels natural and organic to you, start to make some soft movements into your fingers and toes. And if now is not the time, then stay and rest. For those of you on the move, stretching wide or long, or giving yourself a hug, maybe bending your knees, washing your knees from side to side. If you're on your back, rolling slowly to one side or another, whichever feels better for you. And when you're ready, making your way slowly up to a place where you would like to finish your practice. No right, no wrong, just where it feels comfortable for you. We'll settle into that support underneath us wherever you are. And bringing your hands in a gesture of finishing up, whether it's in your lap, over your heart, or anything else. Root down, rise up from there, widen through the collarbones in a comfortable, easy way for you. Take a breath in, exhale, soften your gaze, close your eyes, draw your chin down towards your chest. And take one more moment here to tune in to yourself, to how you're feeling, to how your body feels. Now thank yourself here for your time, for your practice. And I thank each of you for following along. Thank you for joining me.